I've got three stories to share with you in today's GM-packed update, and we're kicking things off with this one from Cointelegraph. SEC ends regulation through enforcement, calls tokenization innovation. So here's the deal. The SEC is now showing support for one of the XRP Ledger's biggest strengths, even calling it innovative. Well, isn't that something? After spending the better part of the last 5 years trying to sue XRP out of existence, this feels like a breath of fresh air. I'll leave it at that. Next up, there's a headline from CNBC that I've been itching to talk about for a few days now. Check this out. Bigger Bitcoin hodler alert. Financial advisor Rick Edelman suggests allocating 10% to 40% of your portfolio to crypto. Now, let me be upfront about something. Haven't talked much about this before, and definitely not in detail, but here's the deal. When it comes to my own net worth, my crypto allocation is a lot higher than that. Just putting it out there. All right, folks, I need your honest opinion here. Don't hold back. I can take it. Tell me, seriously, do I own too much XRP? Is it too big a chunk of my portfolio? Should I be selling some of it right now? Be real with me. Now, here's a fun little thought experiment. Check out this headline from the Crypto Basic. If you had invested $100 a week in XRP since 2015, could you retire today? What do you think? It's an interesting question, right? But before we dive into it, let me make one thing super clear. I'm not a financial expert. This isn't financial advice, and you definitely shouldn't make any buying or selling decisions based on what I say or write. Always do your own research. Just putting that out there. Let's dive into this first piece. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is now embracing tokenization as a market innovation. Yes, innovation is their word. SEC Chair Paul Atkins highlighted this shift during a CNBC interview on Wednesday, signaling a new approach since Gary Gensler's time as SEC Chair. Atkins made it clear, tokenization is an innovation, and we at the SEC should focus on advancing innovation in the marketplace. That's a pretty big statement coming from the SEC's top voice. He also pointed out the contrast between his views and those of his predecessor. Atkins criticized the previous approach to crypto regulation, saying the SEC had stifled progress with vague rules and enforcement-driven tactics. That day is finally behind us. Atkins said it best, "My whole goal is to make things transparent from the regulatory side and give people a solid foundation to innovate and launch new products." And honestly, hallelujah, it's like a Christmas miracle. This is exactly how it should have been from the start. And I know you feel the same way, but here's the best part. It is now. This is what makes the XRP Ledger such a powerhouse. With its lightning fast speed and ridiculously cheap transactions, we're talking fractions of a penny. It's built for innovation. At this point, who even cares, right? That's how affordable it is. When it comes to tokenizing financial assets, putting them on a blockchain just makes sense, especially one designed specifically for payments. Enter the XRP Ledger. It's been around for over a decade, proving itself time and time again. That kind of track record builds trust, not just with developers, but with market participants all over the world. It's not some fly-by-night project. After more than 10 years, you can rest easy knowing it's not a rug pull and the code has stood the test of time. People have been trying to hack it for over a decade and haven't succeeded. If you're thinking about tokenizing assets, it just makes sense to use the XRP Ledger, and that's exactly what's happening. Right now, T-bills and money market funds are already being tokenized on the XRP Ledger. This isn't just talk, it's real and it's happening today. In fact, it's already been done. Now think about it, with this being the way forward, doesn't it seem likely that people will stick with a chain that's been around for a while? You can't just build that kind of reliability and proven track record into a new chain. It's something that's earned over time, and we've always known that. What's exciting is seeing the growing demand for this type of utility. Back in 2020, it wasn't really a thing yet, but fast forward to now, and it's clear the world is catching up. Now there finally is, and let me tell you, it's so satisfying and validating to see it happening. I've always believed people would want this. Even back when no one else was doing it, the community believed in it way before I even got involved. And now seeing it come to life feels like total vindication. What's even better is that now we've got the wind at our backs with the government actually embracing this, which is going to speed things up even more, which is super exciting. On another note, here's something interesting. Financial advisor Rick Edelman is suggesting a bigger Bitcoin hodl, like 10% to 40% of your portfolio in crypto. What do you guys think about that? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Hey, check this out. 4 years ago, financial advisor Rick Edelman made a pretty bold statement. He said everyone should have some cryptocurrency in their portfolio, but how much? Back then, he recommended keeping it low, like 1-2% dot. In his 2021 book, The Truth About Crypto, he even said a tiny 1% allocation was reasonable. Fast forward to now, and things have really changed. This week, Edelman suggested financial advisors should be recommending anywhere from 10% to 40% in crypto. Yeah, that's a huge shift in his thinking, and he's fully aware of it. Now, let me pause for a second. I've got to say, for the average person, that seems like a terrible idea. Here's what I really think about investing. Let's keep it simple and focus on two asset classes, stocks and cryptocurrency. If you're someone who puts 100% of your wealth into crypto, I believe that a decade from now, your gains will completely outshine anything someone could have earned by investing 100% in the stock market. The growth in the crypto space is going to be on a whole different level, far surpassing what we'll see in traditional finance, specifically the stock market. Even though I strongly believe that's the most likely outcome, I can't say for sure that it will be. Speaking for myself, back in 2017, I was already convinced. I even talked about it when I started my YouTube channel at the end of 2018. I said, look, guys, I really believe that if you fast forward 10 years, crypto will outperform the stock market by a lot. Like, I still think that's the most likely scenario. But here's the thing. Putting 100% of my net worth into crypto would have been way too risky. If I ended up being wrong, the consequences would have been devastating, like completely wrecking my financial future and any hope of retiring someday. Even if I was pretty confident I was right, the stakes were just too high to gamble everything on it. So no way, absolutely not. There was no chance I'd invest like that. But like most people, I started out investing the traditional way in the stock market, planning for retirement decades down the line, the usual approach. But in 2017, I decided to dive into crypto. At first, I was just experimenting, putting money in here and there, trying to figure out what made sense. I'll admit, those early years weren't as diversified as they probably should have been, but hey, it worked out. Honestly, I'm really happy with how things turned out. A big chunk of my investments went into XRP. I was dollar cost averaging for a few years. And then in late 2020, I made some larger purchases to round it out. After that, I stopped buying XRP, but it's still by far my biggest individual holding today. So here's the thing. Over the years, I've put more actual money into the stock market, but the crazy growth of the crypto market has completely outpaced everything else I've invested in, like by a lot. It's wild. I'll get into the numbers in a bit, but it's made me think, what's the right percentage of your net worth to invest in crypto? Should it be 10%, 40%? Honestly, it comes down to whether you can handle the ups and downs. Personally, I can deal with the volatility. I'm wired that way. It doesn't stress me out, and I've got a solid understanding of how it works. But for most people, if they had 10% to 40% of their net worth in crypto, they'd probably lose their minds. Picture daily panic calls to their investment advisor, freaking out over every dip and spike. So is that kind of allocation good advice for the average person? Probably not. I don't think so. What's the right percentage? You could maybe argue for something closer to 10, but 40? Wow. I just don't think the average person can handle that. Sure, being at the higher end, like 40% might make sense financially, but does that mean it's going to lead to a reasonable quality of life or that they'll be able to manage it well? Probably not. Most people struggle to keep their emotions in check with just the stock market. Imagine putting almost half of their net worth into the most volatile asset class out there. It doesn't seem like a good idea. Now, for those who can handle the ups and downs, sure, it could work, but for most people, I wouldn't recommend it. Just my 2 cents. Back in 2017, I said this, and I still believe it. If someone put 100% of their net worth into crypto, not saying you should, because diversification in investing is important, and someone else put 100% of their net worth into the stock market 10 years later, same amount of money invested, the crypto investor would come out way ahead, like way, way ahead. It seems so obvious to me. There's just so much more growth potential in crypto right now. There's way less money in it compared to the stock market, which means the multiplier effect is incredible. That said, I'm not suggesting the average person should do this. It's a bold move and not for everyone. But here's the kicker. Today, I'd say putting 40% into crypto is worth considering. Crazy, right? Even CNBC's Crypto World was surprised when I brought this up in an interview. Maybe there's a reason behind all this, but the why is what really matters. According to Edelman, it's all about the massive changes we've seen in the industry, the evolution of crypto over just the past 4 years. 4 years ago, he pointed out, we didn't know if governments would ban Bitcoin, if the technology would become obsolete, or if consumers and institutions would actually adopt it. Fast forward to today, and those questions have been answered. Edelman, who leads the Digital Assets Council of Financial Advisors, said crypto has transformed into a mainstream asset. It's radically changed, he explained. To be honest, I always thought it was clear crypto was here to stay, even back in 2017 when I first got involved. For anyone willing to dive in and really understand what's happening, it felt obvious. And now, as time goes on, it's even harder to argue against crypto. With more adoption, more progress, and governments, especially in the US, starting to embrace it, it's clear the future of crypto is solid. It's wild how much things can change with a new administration. Thanks to the recent elections, we're going to see way more money flowing into the economy over the next 5 to 10 years than we would have otherwise. Elections really do have consequences, and in this case, it's a positive one. Now, I'm not here to get political. Whether you lean left or right doesn't matter. When it comes to crypto and your financial future, this is great news, plain and simple. It's an exciting time to be involved in crypto. All right, I need your thoughts. Am I holding too much XRP? Right now, about 2/3 of my net worth is tied up in crypto. And just to be clear, I've put way more actual dollars into traditional investments, things like ETFs, stocks, and all of that. Seriously, way more. That said, I've also invested a good chunk of real money into crypto. Don't get me wrong, I've been in this space for 7.5 years, and my crypto investments have just completely outpaced everything else. Now, XRP alone makes up about 1/3 of my total net worth. To be honest, I'm not planning to keep XRP as 1/3 of my net worth forever. It's just how it's worked out so far. I've always kind of understood this might happen. Back in 2017, I jumped in thinking, if I'm right about XRP, there's going to come a time when it really takes off. I figured it'd eventually become a big part of my net worth, and it started happening pretty quickly. We had that first big pump, and wow, it was already significant before, but after that pump, it was like, okay, this is getting real. I always kind of expected that. My plan has always been pretty straightforward. Ride it out until we hit that crazy euphoric blow off top, sell at that point, and then use those proceeds to diversify further. I'm not planning to keep it all there, but honestly, having a larger percentage of my net worth in XRP than most people would probably consider feels right for me. And you know what? I couldn't be happier about it. I sleep so well at night knowing that 1/3 of my net worth is in XRP. The best part, I plan for retirement without relying on crypto at all. If all of it went to zero tomorrow, I'd still be fine with just traditional finance. That's the peace of mind I built for myself. This is why crypto has been life-changing for me. I put in real money and it's completely skyrocketed. It's exciting to see what's happening and where things are headed. Every day I feel more optimistic about crypto. And here's the thing, we haven't even hit the blow off top yet. Just hold on. Let me grab a Hall's Fruit Breezer real quick. I can feel another coughing fit coming on like in the last video. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully this helps keep it at bay. I'm just getting over being sick. I had a fever and all that fun stuff, but I'm feeling so much better now. Still, the cough is lingering. It always does when I'm recovering from something. Anyway, let's dive in. You guys tell me what you think, but I just don't believe the average person should be putting that kind of percentage in. I don't think most people can handle it emotionally, and that's really what it comes down to. Would it be the best thing for them? If they could handle it, sure, absolutely. But are you willing to take on that much risk if you're wrong? For me, I wasn't. Think smart move not to, because you truly can't know for sure. And that's a lot of risk to carry. Even if you're pretty confident you're right, it's worth asking yourself, what if you're not? What if things don't go as planned and you find yourself without a retirement plan? Maybe it's better not to take that gamble, and that's totally okay. That said, for those who haven't jumped into crypto yet, I'd say this, just get some exposure, start small, but do something. Don't miss out completely. I feel for the no coiners out there. They might be in trouble down the line. As for how much of your net worth should go into something like XRP, that's a personal decision, but wow, take a good look at the opportunities right now. Seriously, don't let them slip by. Check out this headline from the Crypto Basic. If you had invested $100, 0 cents a week in XRP since 2015, could you retire today? Pretty interesting, right? But let's be real, I'm not about to read the entire article. Let's skip to the good part. You probably already guessed the answer is yes. XRP went from half a penny to over $2. hitting an all-time high of $3.40 this year. And honestly, I think there's still more to come. We're not done here. Far from it. But there's a lesson in this, so let me share a little piece with you. According to Uphold's dollar cost average calculator, hang on, let me grab a quick sip of water first. Wow, check this out. According to data from Uphold's dollar cost average calculator, if you had started investing just $100, 0 cents a week into XRP from May 2015 through June 2025, you'd have put in a total of $53,600, 0 cents. Sounds like a lot, right? But here's the crazy part. Your portfolio today would be worth $3,588,980, 0 cents. That's a mind-blowing return of about 6,595%. Over 10 years, imagine turning 53K into 3.6 million just by consistently investing $100, 0 cents a week. Now, obviously, we'll never get the chance to buy XRP at half a penny again. That ship has sailed. But here's the thing. XRP is still far from being mainstream. Hardly anyone even knows about it right now. I'd bet that if you started the same plan today and stuck with it for the next decade, you could see incredible results too. When it comes to XRP, it's important to look at the bigger picture. Sure, the percentage gains may not be as wild as they were in the early days, since there's more money in XRP now, but it's still impressive, especially compared to traditional stock market returns. Crypto as a whole is positioned to significantly outpace it. So keep this in mind. While the price of XRP might feel high today, in the future, it could look like a bargain. Fast forward to 2025, and you'll realize the opportunity you had right now. Yes, we all want instant results, and hey, who doesn't dream of that Lambo on the moon moment? But patience is key. Take a step back, stay focused, and remember that time is on your side. One day you're going to look back and thank yourself for planning ahead. Maybe even when you're cruising in your Lambo on the moon, if that's your thing. You're going to get there. I remember back in 2017 when I first got into crypto, 7.5 years felt like forever. But here I am now, and I'm so glad I took that leap. Past me really set me up for success. So shout out to past Matt. You did good. And we're not even close to being done yet. Just keep this in mind. This journey isn't over. We're getting closer to that peak euphoria phase, weeks, maybe months away. It's coming. And yeah, eventually we'll hit another bear market when fewer people are paying attention. But if you stick with it, you'll be glad you did. Trust me. I'll be here, by the way, still running this YouTube channel. I'm going to keep this thing going, rocking it until the wheels fall off, or, until you guys stop liking me or tuning in. And if that happens, yeah, I'll be sad. Not going to lie. But until then, I'm here for the long haul, doing what I do best. If you're looking for someone to hang out with and keep this journey going, you're in the right place. I don't have anything to sell, no fancy courses or gimmicks about charts or crypto. What I can offer is a space to learn, grow, and have a little fun. If you feel like it, you can take your money, invest where it makes sense to you, and join me as we watch it grow like crazy over the next 5 to 10 years, because spoiler alert, that's exactly what's going to happen. And I'm here to make it happen right alongside you. When we hit the bear market, here's the plan. 100% of any new money I'm making is going straight into crypto. That's right, every bit of it. I'll be diversifying, taking profits, and spreading it across different areas. I'll dive deeper into all of that when the time comes. There will be plenty of opportunities to chat about it in the bear market. But honestly, when I think about investing during a bear market, it's all about crypto for me. If I ever make an exception, maybe it'd be for something exciting in AI or another high growth area. But outside of that, nope, this asset class is only going to keep growing, and I'm all in. I'm planning to buy back as much XRP as I can, though I'm not sure I'll be able to afford as much as I used to hold since prices are way higher now, but I'll keep at it. I'm looking to invest in the big stuff, Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, and maybe some other large cap coins too. It's exciting to think about building up during the bear market and planning for the long term. If you zoom out and look a decade ahead, just imagine what this could become. For perspective, someone who invested $53,600 years ago could have turned that into $3,580,000. Crazy, right? Honestly, it blows my mind. Oh, and just a heads up, I'm not a financial advisor. You shouldn't make any financial decisions based solely on what I say or write. Seriously, don't do that. It's always best to do your own research.